Hey, I just wanted to try to see Substack Live, what that experience is like. Uh, that's my reason for coming on here live, is I just want to experience what Substack Live is all about. Yeah, I've done a lot of live streams, a lot of live streams on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and I enjoy just the rawness of it. I enjoy the rawness of just coming on and just sharing my thoughts, sharing my feelings. It's been an interesting week so far. We're all into Tuesday. Last week, it's a vacation week for me. My daughter, 33-year-old daughter, scheduled a family vacation for my wife and I, our son, her boyfriend, my brother's family, and my parents, and we all went on a beach vacation. It was a good time. It was a very good time until the unexpected happened. That unexpected Wednesday afternoon, my mother, who was 83 years old, tripped and fell and fractured her hip. She spent the rest of her vacation in a hospital, and the family kind of came together to just try and get everything figured out. The big thing we were trying to figure out is how to get my mother and father back to their home in Florida. We were up in South Carolina, Hilton Head, South Carolina. We were able to get that figured out. We were able to work around. Everybody else continued with their vacation per my parents' request. And we had beach time. We had going out to dinner time. We did it. So we here in Southwest Florida. Tomorrow morning, the ambulance picks her up at the hospital in Hilton Head and will drive her to the rehab facility located in Venice, Florida. My wife is over there checking out the facility right now, along with my aunt, to just go ahead and check, make certain it is. And we feel confident that this is going to be a good facility. We got all the reviews we wanted, we got all the feedback we wanted, and we worked through the insurance. That's another thing. My parents in their 80s, and they went with Medicare Advantage. And I'm going to tell you what, there is no advantage to Medicare Advantage. These facilities told us they would have been better off if they just went with straight Medicare. Because Medicare Advantage through United Healthcare has been giving us the runaround. And it has created some struggle. It has created some of the things that the reasons why we don't have my mother back in Venice, Florida at this point in time. So, lesson learned: when I'm eligible for Medicare, I'm just going to go straight Medicare. I'm eligible for TRICARE, and uh, through my military service, I'm officially retired military, so I'm available for TRICARE, and I'll probably use that as a secondary. My wife, I'm on her insurance policy right now, but the lesson learned: when it's time to make that choice, I'm just going to go straight Medicare, because I see the hassles that Medicare Advantage, United Healthcare put my parents through. But my mother will be in place sometime tomorrow. The ambulance is picking her up at the hospital in Hilton Head between 8 and 9 o'clock, driving her down. It's about a 7.5, 8 hour drive to get back to Venice from Hilton Head. My wife and I, we drove up there. Actually drove my parents and our son. Our son lives in Orlando. We picked up my parents and drove them up there the Saturday. And it was, other than traffic kind of delayed the trip a little bit. It was supposed to have been an 8 hour drive, probably turned into about a 10.5 hour drive. And that was just because of traffic. But we drove back Saturday and we made it back to our house with just a little bit over 8 hours. So that's the expectation that will get my mother in place at the facility by sometime late afternoon tomorrow. So yeah, that's just my experience. That's just my life right now. Last week was a great time for a family vacation. And spending time with family, it can be a challenge. I've always labeled relationships into one of three categories: a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And often it's those lifetime relationships that can be the toughest at times, because those are the ones that sometimes require the most energy. Sometimes those are the ones that become our foundation. You think about a reason for a relationship. I've been involved in mentor relationships, and that's the reason. That's one that comes to mind. It's just a mentor relationship. A season. I think about when my wife and I, when we lived in Ohio, and we had a lot of friends, and I would say we're in that season. What I mean by that is we all had children, and that was what kept us together, was the relationships that we had because we had children of the same age. And once those children kind of grew up and became adults, a lot of those relationships ended. The seasonality of those relationships was over. And I've always been one that I just don't want to just force a relationship. I want to have a relationship for a reason. And like I said, the lifetime relationships, those are usually familial, family relationships, and they can be sometimes be the ones we struggle with the most. But this relationship or this past week of our family trip in Hilton Head, I think there was a new dynamic that kind of brought everybody together because of the unexpected is what happened. Um, and luckily, my brother and his wife stayed back. My wife and I, we had to get out of Hilton Head because we had to get our son back. So he had to work on Sunday afternoon. He works for Disney. And so we had to get him back. And then my wife also had some things that work appointments that she also had to get back for. So here we are. Here we are. I was fortunate that my brother and his wife were able to stay over. They actually got to extend their vacation a little bit. They got some more beach time, which is good for them. They live in Ohio. They don't get to the beach very often. My wife and I, we live a mile from the beach. So spending time at the beach in South Carolina was just like, okay, and we're near the beach anyway. So it was good for my brother and his wife and their daughter to get a little bit more beach time in, a little bit more vacation time in, and good for them. My brother recently retired, and his wife retired a couple of years ago. So it was easy for them to spend that time down there. So let's make this a great week. I looking forward to everything that this week's going to hold for me, and what I can accomplish in this week. We all come into a week with big expectations of what we hope we can accomplish, but being intentional about the week. How I approach each day. Today is June 9th, 2026. There's never going to be another June 9th, 2026 again in your life. This is it. This is the one shot you get at this date. And this date is unique. And what are you doing with the uniqueness of this day to make it different? How are you treating it? Are you treating it, because you are unique creation as well. Are you treating that uniqueness of today and you making the most of what you want to accomplish? But just some thoughts I have, and I'm going to continue to move forward with what I want to accomplish, where I want to go with my life, and making the most of each and every opportunity. And that's what life is about. Are you living your life to the fullest? Are you living it in a way that not only serves you, but serves those around you? Because I think that's one of the key things about life is that we've been given life is to serve others. And I think that's the powerful way to look at life, is the service in which we provide. And once you find that way that you want to serve, everything changes in your life. And we all serve in different ways. We all serve in unique ways. What's that way you want to serve? So really experience that, really lean into that, and find that, figure that out. And I'm always, looking for new ways to serve myself. I love having those conversations with other men to figure out ways in which they want to serve, how they can serve others in a powerful way. Because I mentioned my brother retired. He retired a couple months ago, and he and I had some conversations about what he wants to do. He just said, I'm not going to do anything for a few months and just kind of figure it out, which is good. But at some point, you got to figure it out, what it is you want to do. He's in his early 60s, and you just can't spend the next, 25, 35, 40 years of your life doing nothing. You got to do something. You got to keep your mind active. You got to keep your body active. And I know he'll figure it out. But there's a lot of great opportunities when you reach that stage of your life as far as what it is you want to accomplish. So there's some thoughts I had today. Like I said, I just wanted to come on to Substack, do a Substack Live, see what this is all about. And yeah, Mike, I see your comment. When you slow down, you go down. That's it exactly. And I turned 63 here at the end of July, and probably I would say I'm probably in the best shape of my life. I ran my first marathon at age 60. I ran my first triathlon at age 62. I've had people ask me, well, how could you run a marathon? I tell them running a marathon is the easiest thing to do in your life. Actually, I'm getting ready to start training for my next marathon here in a couple of weeks, but it's actually the easiest thing you'll ever do in your life. And they kind of look at me and I say, yeah, all you have to keep doing is putting one foot in front of the other in rapid succession, and eventually you'll get to the end. That's so true with life. That's so true with life. Keep putting one foot in front of the other on your journey, and eventually you'll arrive at where it is you want to be, where it is you want to accomplish, what it is you want to accomplish. And be very clear on that, what it is you want to accomplish. And when you're clear, amazing things happen. So just some comments I had today, just some thoughts I had today. So let's make this a great day. Let's make this a great week. Make the most of this opportunity you have on this June 9th, 2026, because you only get one shot at it. So do the best you can with this. And as long as you're looking at it, you're doing the best you can in the moment. That's the best you can do. That is the best you can do. So let's make this a great day. I will talk to you soon again. Let's make this a great day. Peace out.